right. Here we are. Ow. How's that for everybody? Did your shatter?
Okay.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. And someone said they can't hear the higher frequency. Can you hear that?
I can.
I
You
hear
know,
the,
a lot of people can't. As we get older, there's a lot of people that cannot hear the higher frequencies.
well, there is the answer for someone who was saying, I can't hear him.
Uh-huh.
So now you know.
You know how I found that out, Wayne, was my kids. They had this app on their phone and they're like, Mom, can you hear this? And they played it and it was a really high pitched tone. And I was like, yeah, it's a high pitched ringing. They were like, you know, Mom, most people your age can't hear this anymore. I was like, really? But yeah, apparently, I guess it's more common than not.
Actually, there is science. There is a new program police departments are deploying nationwide that only target teenagers.
That would make sense because they can
And
hear things we can't.
well, yeah, there's a certain frequency that teenagers cannot handle. Uh, Not saying that there's mind control. So, welcome everybody. Just saying hello to one and all. We open it up all the time differently here. I have my excellent guest with me, Miss Trina, again this week. Trina, how are you doing?
I'm great, Wayne. So good to be with you.
Excellent. It is always a joy. So many people here. Man, there's a lot of people here. Let's see. Vortex of Do Deborah. Hey, I like that. That's pretty cool. Infinite frequencies. Hello, how are you? Man, Nina the Mystic, David Barry, how are you doing? Lost in Space. Maria, Lori, good to see you. Man, there's just a lot of people in here, Trina. So,
Yay.
welcome everybody. We do that kind of. I was telling Trina right before we went live that a lot of people are writing they like the opening of the tones, and I think it's kind of cool too. So that's what we will do. So, invoking favor in everyone, I said today in the written comments, I am invoking fractal favor of the infinite universe upon us all. And at the same time, stating forth a state of exceptional consciousness where there's nothing missing, nothing broken in our reality. So that's how we roll here, and we do it. And we do our, I like to call this more of a declaration. Sending this out every day, Trina, all over the world. People writing me back, telling me that they're seeing things, and it's typically most often in the small things.
Yeah.
But they're seeing it. And I think that that is the idea. In fact, I'll tell you, if you see it in small implements, that's a good thing. So all these favors will come upon me, us, you, I, Trina, you,
Yay.
and overtake us if we give voice to them each day. Favor will be upon us in the city, and favor will be upon us in the country. Favor will heal our bodies when we speak favor into our bodies. Favor will set apart our children, our animals, our ground, as favored with abundance of joy. Favor will be upon our food, our water, and our pantry. That's our food source, wherever that food source may be. Favor will walk with us when we come in, and favor will walk with us when we go out. Favor will cause our enemies to be at peace with us. Favor will be upon our barns and storehouses. This is where you keep your valuables to prosper and be in safety. Favor will be upon us in everything we undertake, everything we set our hand to. Favor will cause it to prosper. Favor shall be upon all our material property and shall cause it to last longer and not break. Favor shall protect us, our offspring, our possessions from calamity. Favor will lead us to good fortune in all things. Favor will cause us to be the head, not the tail. Favor will cause us to come out on top and not beneath. Favor will always cause us to be above. Favor will cause us to have favor with the elements. That's important when you see a tornado coming. Favor will cause you to be favored with the spirit realm. Favor will cause you to be favorable to everyone we meet, and they will see favor when they see us, and favor shall seek us out. So there you go, Trina.
And I agree fully. And I say favor is the new flavor of our reality. Let's bring it in.
Oh, I like that.
I kept
Favor
hearing,
is the
favor is the new flavor of our reality. I'm like, I love that. I'm like, let's do it.
You know what? I know Josh, Consciously Aware. I know David, Al. There's a number of people who are doing sigils. Let's do a sigil. Favor is the new flavor.
Yeah.
Let's do that. I mean, I think that would be really a cool.
I do, and I see it. I see it like new light coming into the matrix. I can see it coming in. It's manifesting. I see it. That's why they're seeing it in the small things. Well, get ready, guys. Keep focusing. We're going to see it in big things.
And it's so curious that you choose those words because in many of the, now I just call them testimonies. You know, you can't have a testimony unless you have a test. It's just the way it works. And again, people are seeing exactly. I love that metaphor, the rays of favor coming in. I was doing a little ritual yesterday afternoon, and you know, the color of favor, you know, it's just a remarkable thought.
Yeah.
You know, I just love that. I mean,
I do. I could. It shows for me, like I said, like a corally, orangey, yellowy, red, blended, beautiful color. And I think it's a new color. So I think that's amazing.
And I happen to agree with that. I don't think we know all the colors. Anyway, so all those are having a happy birthday today. Hey, happy birthday to you. You know, you chalked another one. And may I say, start counting or seeing your existence in this temporal plane as days. It really is a lot cooler, you know. Remember, every decade you have 3,650 days. Play with them the way you want. That's what I say. And I just want to say hello. We have a lot of people who I haven't seen here. Of course, Patrick, we continue to think of him, and David's mother. He told me that she's getting close to making the transition. And so we just sent her warm thoughts and speedy transition. And to all the rest of us that are out there, you know, whatever you're dealing with, we're thinking about you. Let us know, and we'll give you verbalization to that, and we'll help speak, raise the vibration. Trina, what do you think?
I do. Bring it on. That's what we do. We support each other.
Yeah, we do.
To do it. I think it's one of the most powerful ways we can support each other is by sending comfort, favor. You know, if you're going through a hard time, my favorite thing is the comforter, because that's what you really need. And the comforter can bring comfort in however you need to receive it best.
Yeah. You know, and that brings to recall, I think it is specifically, John 16, talking about the attributes of the Holy Spirit. And one of those attributes, in fact, I probably can quote to them all: advocate, counselor, and there's a number of others that I think sometimes that we forget to understand that if there's indeed, and I believe there is, a higher intelligences, and whether they're in spirit form, thought form, whatever that form may be, it kind of gets into what we're going to be talking about here. The spirit, I think all spirits are, in one sense of the word, holy. I mean, they are unique unto themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about that. Tomorrow I'm going to be teaching more on the magic circle. And one of the things that most people find very difficult is to assume what they call the Godhead assumption. And the process is this: as the triangle that it gives you is the fact that we are immersed in the Godhead.
Yeah. You know what I saw this week? I had an insight, and it was being explained to me like the hand of God, and then it was showing me the Trinity that's within in the body is like body, mind, soul. But then there was the two other aspects that were above you, which was like the higher soul and spirit aspect that made the true five. It was a very complex thing they were trying to show me regarding the Trinity, and then how it was integrated with the five-pointed star. And it was very interesting. And they were talking about how the mother is the five. The five is the feminine, and its attributes are forethought. So that's the intuition, incorruptibility, eternal. And I don't have it in front of me because I was writing it down and then I was checking it with other research. I might do something on it later to go more into detail.
Excellent.
But this is so powerful. There are things within our spirit, and it's connected to the soul, and they're one. It's kind of like our mind. You know, the thought comes from the father aspect, but the mother aspect is the part that catches that thought and puts it into images in the mind. It's like, it's such a cooperative process. So all you guys that are balancing with using creativity and magic and prayer and then being in the real world, this is the integration of those two brains.
Well stated. I really like that. Because I like how you say that. You know, I think we're in a time right now. I guess this is truly the transition. If we're really moving from one age to another, one time into another time, whatever it is, it's having an effect on our species worldwide. I mean, the title of this, So Many on the Edge, why? And I got an email from one of our people in our community. They're in law enforcement, folks. We've got cops, males and females, that are in our community. They don't talk, but they're here. And one officer who said, you know, he said, everything is on edge. He said, gone are the days where, you know, you would pull over a person speeding without having to think that, well, could this become very bad?
Yeah, is this person going to shoot me?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, and he was writing that it's everywhere. I mean, and you can see it. We see more incidences of people just going off the road rage.
Yeah, you know what, Wayne, there's a lot of talk right now in the astrological world about right now we're in the wounded healer. Cryon is in Aries in retrograde. So Aries is our head. It's the ram. It's the crown. It's the top. And then Cryon, the wounded healer in retrograde, this is going to be bringing out all of everybody's old wounds, all of their old trauma, all the discomfort. That's why you're seeing all this stuff is just coming up like volcanoes. Volcanoes on Earth are a representation of what's happening within us.
Yeah, I wrote down here, and before we even started, how it's odd because there's a synchronicity always taking place. I said, are people being hacked already? I mean,
Yes.
I never thought about, this is the danger. I'll just state this about practicing magic. If you haven't addressed those type of wounds, they will get exposed. Very good point.
Yeah. And right now, I think it's time to actually become your wound.
Ooh.
Dive into them as deep as you can. Literally investigate. Get as much information as you can until you can see it from a higher place. Don't stop. Keep going until you can see it from a higher place. Because as soon as you can get to that higher place and see it from a place you didn't see it before, you've just healed your mind.
Excellent. 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 Wow, this is really going to fit in because I know that I hadn't brought to you other than the fact of what the fact was. So one of the things that I keep thinking about, Trina, is where does consciousness reside? I mean, the uniqueness, I had put a link to a TED conference video, and I encourage people to go to the beginning, and if it's not there, I'll repost it. But it was an excellent 17-minute talk by this individual about how we're beginning to understand and it's very interesting, it is in fact becoming the triad of science, philosophy, and what we would call then mathematics.
Yes.
That forms the triad. And what they're finding out is this thing we all possess called the fractal brain.
Yes.
Fractals are just, and allow me, I have a little surprise for you because I know you had mentioned it. I pulled up a white paper. This is the fractal brain theory. This is, Trina, we're going to go through this if you don't mind, because it is one thing that just, I'll just tell you what I drew from this. Individually, every cell is, and we are individually as well, collective consciousness.
Yeah.
And the dog agrees.
Oh, she does. You keep on talking, Wayne. I got to get her toy. It went under the couch.
Okay, all right. So, folks, while she's getting that, I am going to discuss the new approach that this plays into everything that we're studying here. So, what is a fractal? An object is a fractal when it has the property that the structure of its constituent parts reflect the structure of the whole at various scales. The classic example would be a tree where a branch of the tree held upright is as the whole tree. And even a leaf of a tree has in its veins a tree-like branching structure. Thus, a fractal object is said to be self-similar. Another property of fractal objects is nesting. The smaller constituents that make up the whole part and that reflect the structure of the whole part are themselves contained within it. Now, I know that gets a little deep, but walk with us on this. But then the similar copies of the whole themselves contain even smaller copies reflecting itself and the whole, and so on forth, potentially ad infinitum. So, Trina, when I began to read this, I think this is going to change a lot of how we see ourselves.
Wayne, this is so weird. I literally received the same information in a totally different way, but it's identical in its essence. They showed me that within the new clay of us, which was when we got recreated again, somehow through genetic modifications, when the new clay of us was created, it was done through the molecular. And within the molek were the mirrors, the reflectors, which were the procreate and replication codes. I literally saw that in a different way, but the same exact gnosis.
Folks, you need to put those catchers on the side of your head on full alert. You need to be listening to this, folks. The two of us never conversed on this.
No, there were mirrors inside of mirrors inside of mirrors, and they showed me the molecule is it's like a enclosed replication system, and it's all done through images. It's profound the way the mirrors work. It was mind-blowing.
This, folks, is I literally have the hairs rising up on my arm. This is amazing. This needs, something wants this to get out. So we're going to get there. We have, okay, in this above diagram are 4 examples of fractal objects that have the property of self-similarity, just what Trina said. In that organization of the constituent parts that make up the object reflect that of the whole and overall object. The two on top row and the one on the bottom left of the diagram are idealized mathematical fractal objects derived from the perfect solids, i.e. tetrahedron, cube, and decahedron. The fractal object at the bottom right of the diagram is an actual existent vegetable that is the genetic cross between a cauliflower and broccoli called Romanesco broccoli and Roman cauliflower. This, folks, is going... Oh, we're going to get into some good... All right. This is what they propose. That the brain, the organization of the brain, is also fractal. Not just a structure, but also in process. So that we are conceptualized for the whole brain in terms of structure and functioning. We may likewise infer and conceptualize the same with regard to the brains of constituent parts. That is, there should be a way of looking at the brain which shows that the neurons, the brain cells, is a neuron complex. A cortical cell column is as the neuron microcomplex, the cortical patch, and so on for the entire brain. So what they get into in this next section is this, in essence, is that what they're saying, Trina, every part of our brain in its simplest component is a reflection of something much bigger, much more complex, and much more diversified.
Yeah, that's the whole, inside the seed, the mustard seed is the whole entire universe is contained. That's like what they show me. They're like, within one cell is every single piece of the universe is somehow within that DNA. So within like one cell, with all that, they say junk mail, which is the junk DNA, the junk crap, and that's not junk. It's just they can't see it because it's a higher dimension. That's part of our meta genes, our metaphysical, multidimensional genes. So just because they can't see them and they don't know what they do, they're not junk. That's our meta genes, and that's our connection to the entire universe within this universal construct.
And it's so interesting because my technology background is metadata.
Wow.
And everything has a metadata tag to it.
Yep.
So this is the thing that I meditated on this, and it was taking me places that I think tomorrow I'm going to be doing a whole show on God is nothing more than a neuron. But the neuron in its essence is mind-blowing. So figure 1, check this out, Trina. The above diagram shows the fractal structure of the cerebral cortex, which along with its wiring makes up most of the mass of the human brain. Diagram 1 depicts of a pyramidal neuron, the main neuron type of the cerebral cortex. It's a pyramid. Yep. And it's a cerebral and shows its tree-like branching structure and a recurrent feedback projection. Diagram 2 depicts a cortical column into which several thousand pyramidal neurons are clustered to form the basic representational unit of the cerebral cortex. Diagram 3, this one here, depicts a columnar complex made of many cortical columns, and diagram 4 depicts 7 interconnected, excuse me, it keeps having to, would you stop that? Cortical patches. And this is the point I want to talk about. These, which are themselves sheet-like structures consisting of a flat arrangement of many columnar complexes densely packed side by side. At all these levels of description, we see a basic pattern of branching in, branching out, looping back, so that in this way, the brain is organized fractally. This line of reasoning and way of looking at things can also be used with regard to the entire brain and all its main information processing constituent structures.
Yep.
Okay. So
the brain to me is phenomenal, and I do believe that this is a mental construct. So if there was a true God of this construct, to me, it would be a neuron, which would be the atom, the whole
bingo.
Light thing. It's the spark of light, which is inspiration. It's the ability to conceive thought.
Yes. And all religions take their parts from what I think was initially a whole. And the fractal universe, and we'll just stop here because I like looking at you, and
I like looking at you too.
Yeah, it's like, okay. Created in its image.
Yes. That's how I saw the Moloch and the mirrors, because when they were showing me our creation, they were showing me it was all done through a reflection.
Yes.
They captured an image, and then you hear the Native Americans, they always talk about they don't want their pictures taken because they believe it steals their soul.
Yes.
I wonder if that's how they got us into the electric construct, was by capturing an image of man.
There is, sister, that's deep.
That's what I see, Wayne. I literally saw they stole the image of man, which, in my opinion, if you really want to know who man is, man would be the divine feminine.
I believe that is absolutely correct.
Because if the creator saw its image being masculine, it would produce its own image, which would be the divine masculine and feminine combined, the image with the thought, which would be man.
And you could take this another step forward. If you look at the construct of modern day religion, and I think that it's reversed. So let's take this to its ultimate beginning. It would mean that the feminine was actually first to give birth.
But the invisible part, which is the actual progenitor, was father, which is masculine. Yes.
I mean, you can't. I think it's now, I don't know. There may be a dimension. Maybe it's on the first dimension. I can't imagine a dimension without some sort of polarity.
I can, and that's where I see the actual neuron light spark itself in essence, and it's just moving thought light, so it can't even understand itself because it's everything. And the way it understands itself is to project itself outward, and that's why it projected out and got to an image of itself. And then through the fractaling, eventually leading to us as carrying part of that divine spark within us, we're experiencing all of creation for creation itself. We are like the hands that feel creation for creator.
And how I interpret that, hey there, Josh, how you doing? There are a lot of people who are talking. So I got this impression. I literally laid down for a while and just meditated on it. And it's something that's leading me to, we all are of one consciousness. There is I don't think that there is anything but a single consciousness.
There isn't, as far as I can see, at least within this complete construct. I literally, Wayne, one time I was so upset when I found out about the whole Yahweh feathered serpent thing. And I was like freaked out thinking, oh my gosh, and there's all the dragon stuff from the ancient stuff. I'm like, there's a lot to this snake stuff. I'm gonna go figure this out. So I'm gonna go talk to him myself. So I did. And I talked to the feathered serpent. And when I got into the consciousness of this being, I was floored, because it was like being inside of my own mind.
There is so much to this.
It freaked me out. I thought it'd be this high holy thing, or maybe even super egotistical, because he throws temper tantrums and kills things all the time.
Yeah,
so
he does.
I was thinking, this can go one way or the other. No, it was everything. It was everything. And it thought just like we do. It had insecurity. It felt alone in its own self, like nobody understands it. Like And apparently it is the first of its kind, so it didn't have anything like it before it. So that would make a lot of sense.
The
But
fractal.
I was like, whoa, this is not what I expected at all.
This
It
is
was
what
my
Lilith taught me.
consciousness. It was my consciousness, which means it's yours.
Yes.
It has
Yes.
to be.
Oh, this is interesting because I didn't expect the conversation to go into this direction, but this is cool because, when we started the Liber Lilith, that's exactly what Lilith said, was that how Samuel was merely the reflection of the infinite light's
Divine feminine.
reflection. Well, and then it was divine feminine. Yeah.
Copycat, but
Yeah.
copycat gone wrong because it didn't have all the information it needed to be created correctly. It would be like a birth defect.
Yeah.
That's how it was shown to me.
This is heavy.
Yeah.
I keep on thinking about my lucid dream on Saturday, of the golden serpent. And I have interpreted that as there's some things coming, folks. Yeah. I think there's knowledge coming that, how shall I say this? I think we're in the transition point where the spirits of on high are once again being allowed to communicate with the God man below.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
You know what your serpent dream meant to me?
What did it mean to you?
Serpent to me, especially when it's gold, represents the caduceus. It represents the highest level of healing power available on this planet. You've always been a faith healer. You've been doing this work for years. It just means you are anointed with the serpent itself. I think now anything you touch, you decide to heal, will heal. You've been gifted this because of your work. And it was a graduation. And what I saw was a full anointing of you.
Wow. You are the third person. You are number 3 that have said that. And I believe there is a saying of wisdom that says, in the mouth of 2 or more witnesses, let everything be established.
Yeah, you now carry the staff of Moses within your body, Wayne.
Wow. I'll have to chew on that one. That's good. That's the one that kind of goes, what?
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Yeah.
It was literally like this sacred serpent anointing, which is the medicine. That's the caduceus. That's the healer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
makes sense with your background.
Well, and it's, it's interesting. My wife being a nurse, the healing aspect.
I mean, who better to give this gift to?
Yeah. Yeah. This is interesting.
And you have to earn it. You've earned it.
and I don't think there's any shortcuts. I just don't think it. I think we'd all have to, you're going to finish the journey one way or the other. And it gets back to this thing. I keep on thinking and I give thanks for my consciousness. I don't know who to give thanks to other than there is, in what I sense, there is something. I'm living within it. We all are.
You know what? When I had that gnosis of when I went to Yalda Bayoth and talked to the serpent, and I was like, what are you? And, and the revelation, like the whole basis of it, when I was finished with it, and it was so profound because I was so blown away by the consciousness that it was so similar to ours. And then when it was all said and over, I literally heard, I am simply consciousness, just trying to have an awareness of myself.
Oh, that's profound, because without consciousness, there would be no awareness, and without awareness, there would be no consciousness.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
It's that challenge of that question. So where does your soul reside? Where does your thoughts originate from? It would appear
it comes from above the God of this world.
It has to, because
it does.
None of us have an original thought.
Yeah, and I think when he thought that he was the ultimate God because of the circumstances as to which he was isolated, with that being that kind of being dethroned in your own mind is what created the 7 archons.
It's interesting. as you were talking, I was drawn to the fact that our universe in this plane of existence it inherits this is it's the fractal. It
Yes,
mirrors a
we're
brain.
copies. We're copies, Wayne. I know it. I know it. I know it. I'm gonna get to the bottom of it before I die, and if I don't, it's first mission when I do. But we got some copies going on here. Like
Well,
I said, that's the whole thing with religion. It's like, guys, I really think this could be a trap. Do not love your religion, your beliefs. Love your beliefs. Hold your beliefs, but be careful with religion, because that's relying on legion. You're relying on demons. You're relying on copycats. They're copies of the real, because the real ones, they do not reside in this world, because they can't. The frequency is too dark, too dense. They could not be here. So with that, to meet your true family, you got to get your vibration up, because they can only come down so low, and you got to get up to their level and meet them halfway.
a lot of people ask, well, why haven't I been able to make contact? And sometimes, listen, they know you.
They do.
And,
They do.
the ones I've met that have contacted me are very cautious. In fact, they told me in essence is that most spirits don't trust humans.
No.
No, they're
wild cards.
You
never know what we're going to
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
We're unpredictable. That's why we are so special, is because of that soul part of us, the primal part of us, that mother integration of nature, that wild thing, and that father and mother thing. When they work together, they can create anything they want. So with that, we have the ability to perceive that, because we come from that. So with that, if you tune in and your instincts, your instincts sometimes tell you things that you were not even conceptualizing, but you just all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I know this. That's them. And you think it's going to be some like major announcement when you're talking to those parts of yourself that are connected to you through the energetic and spiritual realms in your spirit body, the true mom and father energies that are above physicality. Anything that's in a visible light construct here is a copy.
Yes.
Not one single thing in this construct is organically original, because this is a reflective system. When you're in your organic systems, the light emanates from within. There's no reflective light. The light is reflecting from within. It's emanating. Everything emanates light. Trees, everything emanates light. There is no reflective light.
Lovely. Wonderfully said. And as you were thinking, I'm going down this path, and I'm going, okay, so when we talk about where we are in this, because it is fractal, thought is a fractal essence of something, of a reflection of something greater.
Yeah.
All right. So that kind of answers one question, is that none of us have an original thought. It's being fed to us.
Yes. Yes.
Now, that gets a little weird, because I've been in transit states of consciousness where I'm going to tell you, Trina, I'm laying in a bed.
Yes. I've been
I
there
know.
too. I call it my sleeping beauty. That's my sleeping beauty. I'm like, where is she? I'm going to find her.
I know I'm dreaming this life.
Too. Yep. Why do you think Einstein, Faraday, Shakespeare, all of them, this is all just but a dream?
Now, I've been awakened a couple of times, and I'm beginning to think that that's maybe what NDEs are. Near-death experiences is a sudden wake up. What do you what do you think?
It could be you wake up to your true state.
Yeah, I mean,
and those bodies, if they're physical, that means they're still trapped in the construct too. Because Wayne, I've been searching this stuff for a long time.
It shows too. You have the knowledge.
It goes above physical. You got if you're talking about true home destination, you got to get beyond visible light. You got to go beyond physicality. You're going past geometry, past ether. It's what they call the pleroma, the unknowable, unseeable, unfathomable. It is forethought. It is all of it. And it's it's where the light bodies resume. And
So
it's not physical at all.
we've all been taught this myth about a light that shows up when we're passing over.
And it does. Those soul catchers, they're going to come for you.
So I've been thinking about this. I've been watching footage. There's a show over here called Paranormal Capture. And they just simply take from all the cameras around the world, we're capturing spirits. We know that they're spirits. We can see them. Many times they have the ability to energize enough kinetic energy to manifest slight photons.
Yeah.
My question is this: how can there be a spirit that didn't get caught up in the light? Where are all these spirits? Where, something isn't right here. There seems to be a disconnect in the tradition of what has been taught to what the physical evidence is showing.
It's kind of like the Wizard of Oz.
Well, Dorothy, we ain't in Kansas anymore.
Exactly. And I feel like somehow through some alien technology, they were able to lock this whole entire our solar system.
Mm-hmm.
I'm certain the whole entire solar system is part of this net or web or grid. So with that, somehow I think through technology, they did lock us into a grid. And it's a mind control, mind wiping, amnesia grid. And it's so they can keep the souls in the grid and keep using them over and over and over again for harnessing energy.
Kind of goes with what Ariel said in interview with an alien, the alien interview. Mm-hmm. And I've been breaking down that word again. You said something and I can't get it out of my head, so I got to speak it. Religion, when you really break it down, is this merely a replay of a legion?
Yes.
That's who's,
and it's all giving your power away. So you're literally signing a contract saying, I allow you to feed on me.
Bingo.
Yeah. Because this is about energy, folks. This is about genetics. This ain't about what God you worship, because they're laughing. This is about your soul. And this is about how precious what's going on inside your genetics are. And that's because it's conscious. And that consciousness is literally the only God of this world. It's consciousness.
That is profound. That consciousness would be in fact controlled by a deity that
by hypnotherapy or magnetics, because magnetics affect the brain.
Every neuron is surrounded by an electromagnetic
magnetic net. It's the net that binds. It's the magnetic net. That's what they showed me. It's the magnetic net. Oh, and they also showed me it's the magic net. It was done with magic.
I absolutely believe that. I'm becoming more convinced of, and we'll be talking more about this tomorrow, is that if you use that circle and you really begin to, it opens portals. I was not a believer of that, but I experimented enough and it's tangible. So
yeah.
Boy, this just gets me to thinking over and over again, is that, all right, I heard this. Once you become awake or aware to this point of self, and now I think this fractal understanding is a key component to this.
Me too.
Trina, we become a virus.
Yeah, we're the antivirus. I was told that.
Yeah,
exactly. We were the antivirus, and I was also told that the parasitic infection, which they literally called it parasitic, which is like a snake, a worm, whatever. It's a parasite that eats. They literally said that we were literally the wormwood, which was the antidote, which is the homeopathic remedy for a parasitic infection.
It goes with that thought that, mankind is truly an anomaly. And I mean, it's quite, and I don't know where consciousness, I don't know where the soul, the spirit resides. I mean, I'm beginning to see that the spirit.
What I see, Wayne, the more I'm looking at it.
What do you see?
Me, that the soul would be like the Christ. Like
Okay.
that's the consciousness of this planet at its highest level. The soul would be like the Christ energy. And then the spirit or the you got the soul, and then you got the Holy Spirit, and then you got the mind, the Father. So like the Father part of us is the part that's that spark, the energy that sends out that information. But mother part, the PM matter, the mother matter, the brain is about, it can catch it. And then when it integrates and it blends, that's when it makes the Trinity, which opens up the Christ, the Christos. So that's how I see it. It's melding of energies.
You
Is
have an
how
orange
consciousness is actually.
aurora around you, by the way.
Huh?
I said you have this orange aurora around you.
Yeah, it's my joy.
No, I'm serious. As your hands come down, it gets deeper into that color. Um, let's talk about this. So, when I was in my circle, I was shown mentally about whatever this is, coming down, palms up, meeting, palms coming back.
Yeah.
There's something to that. I don't know what it is. And you have to form the triangle. And what I was shown, you bring it up to at the top of the crown, you bring it into the lower chakra, and then from up within, you bring your hands out. It's the freaking flat.
You know how I see it in my mind, Wayne? I see it as it's two pyramids, and I see them coming together.
Wow.
Merging. And then when they merge, that's when the spin starts. And it shoots in all directions, as above, so below, all around, everywhere, every direction, like a diamond, and it spins so fast.
It's that flower of life. It's the fractal that, it's odd how all of this comes together. It's like, who's driving this bus?
All of us.
I think it's true. I think it is true. It's quite, and I think that I had, he has since passed on. He was a rabbi of the Kabbalistic mindset. And he said that there are very few real human beings walking on this planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Your eyes lit up when I said that.
I believe that. And I believe that most of the human beings are fractals of the original 144.
Yeah, he said that there's very few of us, of course I was saying, well, so what are you saying, that I am not? And he said the true measure is where you end your journey.
Yeah.
I said, well, what do you mean by that? He said, a non-human being will not complete the journey because they don't know how. They don't know. It's not within them. But those of us who are, we're pulled. He says, you feel it. And it's true.
Yeah. That's the most precious thing about us, is that we feel. And that's the thing, the artificial intelligence, they don't have, and they never will. And without that feeling part of you, you don't have a moral code. And why do you think the creator will always be the ultimate of all that is? Because its foundation is benevolent. And that's why they call it God, because God and good are the same word.
Well, and I'm just reflecting, there was a story here locally about, get this, I think the woman, 1920, her boyfriend, they give live birth, and then they take this life and they put the infant's head in the toilet and drown it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are not human beings.
No.
And there's more of them.
Also, too, Wayne, I've seen fear for whatever reason. I mean, because you got to understand the intention and the backstories before you ever cast a judgment. And I've seen fear turn people into absolute utter monsters. So,
Mm,
it's like I said, fear, false
mm.
emotion, appearing real. That is the tool that is used against us as humans, because they know
Thank
that's
you.
our most powerful tool is our feelings. So if they can get
Mm.
you into fear, they can make you do things that you can't imagine out of fear. And that's what we need to understand. That's why there is no fear. There's no fear. If you
There
don't
is none.
fear death, you will never act like a monster, because you won't be in that primal mode of survival, because you won't ever need to harm another. You just won't need to, because you don't have any fear.
Bingo. That's how I defeated the Satans in my life. I
Me too.
faced them. I mean,
Me too. I went straight at him. I'm like,
I,
bring it. Let's go.
there was one ugly son of a bitch. I mean, it was a nasty looking thing. And you know what I told it? It said that, it was going to take my spirit essence, is what it said.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to it, I said, you're not strong enough. And I said, if death is the only thing I have to fear in this encounter, I said, bring it on. And you know what happened?
Disappears.
It disappears.
Yeah, I always say, are you sure you want me to be inside of you? Because you don't know what I'm going to do to you once I get in there.
Trina, that thought just freaked me out. It's like, oh
Yeah.
man.
Oh, yeah. You want to play? Let's play. I go deep, buddy. Let's go. I'll dive straight into their heart and grab a hold of it. Straight up. Let's play. I ain't playing. Don't fight with me, because I know how.
You see, I think so often we get this whole thing about demon possession backwards. Listen,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to have you inside of my head mad.
Nope, you wouldn't. And that's
No.
the darkness that's inside of me. I've embraced it. I don't run from it.
Yeah.
That's my best friend. If things go wrong, that darkness in me is my best friend. But I pardon my French, but this is how I say it. You got to manage the bitch. She's there in her little place for a reason. And if I need her, I'm going to bring her out and we are going to play. But I can tell you what, she does not control me.
Yes.
And
Yes.
there is no place that I cannot be dominant with my goodness. My goodness is superior. But if I need support from my darkness, oh yeah, bring it.
This is why I enjoy our relationship, because it's straightforward, it's honesty.
Yeah.
There's nothing, there's no preconceived what I always call the false covering.
No.
When I finally got over the fear of death, and I think the thing that all my life in Christianity, what I was fear of was judgment, number one, because you never know if, and it was always that uncertainty that keeps you locked in.
Yeah, and Wayne, this is another thing I realized too. Your judgment is going to come from you.
Yes, thank you.
Because the two witnesses, they showed me the two witnesses. We've been seeing this since we were kids and we didn't even know what it was. In the cartoons, the devil on one shoulder and the angel on one shoulder, those are the two witnesses.
Yeah.
And they're inside of you. So when you go to judgment, it's only yourself. You're going to be judging yourself. So learn how to forgive yourself. Learn how to love yourself. Learn that you are a powerful warrior and you came into one of the most densest creation points of all existence, where everything is allowed. The evilest of evilest is allowed. So if you're not out doing horrible things as a human being, you've already won. So lighten up, y'all.
I love this. I love this.
Yeah, it's just true, because on a frequency level, you all are already doing a great job. You're seeking to know more than what this lie is offering you. You ding dong, you already win. Bravo, bravo. You're already so far ahead of the game. So lighten up on yourself, love yourself, forgive yourself, be the best you can be. It feels a whole lot better.
I love this. You know what I caught myself saying when I came back from a meditation walk? I am perfection personified, because there is no other Robert Wayne Steiger.
Absolutely. And you know what else they told me? My purpose is more important than your opinion.
Ooh. I like that.
That one was like, oh, I like that one too. That's powerful, y'all. I
Oh.
needed that one. My purpose is more important than your opinion.
Yes, I like this. And that's exactly how you have to talk to the demons.
Yeah.
You got to
They
say,
don't like it at all.
I had one say, brought up something and I said, really? That's the best you got?
Yeah.
I said, get back up in the peanut section. I don't want to talk to you.
You.
Exactly. But I never thought about this. I am, no matter, you see, what you think about me doesn't matter. I don't care what anyone thinks about me.
No.
I am perfect within who I am.
Yep. And it only matters what you think of you.
Yeah.
Because what you think of you is what you're going to emanate to the world.
Because I can only be me. I don't know how to be you. Man, I mean, how long have we lived our lives?
What if we were all the same? How boring.
Woo! No, that would be too weird.
It would be terrible.
That would bum me out. I'm just reading some of this. Go raise your hand, and I'm just trying to read some of this. Well, it looks like they're having a lively discussion in there. Are you seeing any of that?
Yeah, I just looked down.
I went, whoa.
I love you guys. You guys are so wonderful.
Oh, Gushara says, I am a creator being. Yes, I only want what is real. I am done with suffering. Real is what I choose to focus. Spot on. Absolutely. Yeah. If we started as a race, a human being, our species, and see ourselves not as imperfect, but as perfect as we can already be.
Yeah. And Wayne, all of those imperfections and all of those mistakes and all of those stumbling blocks, man, if you climb over them and heal them and you repair those wounds, you're repairing the collective consciousness as well as healing yourself. And we are doing this work, and we are the ones that we've been brought through some of the toughest crap in this world because we're the warriors, guys. We wouldn't be getting beat up if we weren't the warriors. So any of you getting beat up, man, just love yourself more and know, boy, you must be doing a good job if the world is just coming down on you hard. Either that or you're stuck in a pattern that they're forcing you to break. So it's one or the other, but it is all to serve you.
And and I just want to clarify, we're not talking narcissism here. We're not talking egotism here. What we're talking about is self.
Yeah. When you can love yourself, you can love everybody else. You cannot love if you do not love yourself.
I had a good friend who, she took her life, and I could never, none of us could. We could never get her to see that she was this precious soul.
Yeah. Her programs were so strong that she had no connection to the soul.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I see happen. They get either put into, heavy programming, heavy drugs, heavy trauma. Any of these triggers can throw people over the edge. And it's very sad because what I was told many years ago by a child who was prophesizing to me. She said, when the changes of the world start coming and the ice starts melting and the devolution and the demolition begins, she says many people will be wanting to commit suicide. And she said, and the ones that are feeling all of these feelings of suicide, she said, these are the demons that are trying to stop them from their mission, because these are the ones that are the empaths of the world. And these are the ones that are being so seriously affected by the dysfunction of the world. And they said, but these ones are the ones that can receive the messages to heal the world. So don't give up, guys.
Don't give up. I talk to a lot of people that are tormented by such thoughts, and
absolutely, and it's done on purpose.
Oh, it is. And
kick that crap to the curb and say, you know what? Try again tomorrow, because today you're out of business.
I tell people, learn to laugh at it.
Yeah, and just tell it no.
It breaks its spell.
Seriously, no. And you got to change your mind.
Yep. You got to. Otherwise, you're going to be a victim.
Yes.
And I say let's be victorious instead of becoming the victim.
Absolutely. Flip
Yeah.
that upside down.
Well, that's what we try to do here.
Transmute.
Well, there's an hour.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, what?
It is literally an hour. In fact, yeah, over an hour. I mean, well, Miss Trina, this has been a deep conversation. I hadn't even planned it, and there is a greater force, I think, that takes presence in here.
Well, it's so funny. It was about why is everybody on the edge? I think this is why, Wayne.
I think we nailed it.
Yeah, I think this is why.
Yeah. Wow.
You all are special, and they're going to try everything they can to get you down.
Well, we'll just continue to meet each week and bring up, because we do provide a, how should I say, a formidable offense. I don't like defense. I prefer to take the offense.
That's the best way to play.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like to defend.
No.
I like to offend.
Yes, absolutely. Because anything with DE means it's devolving.
Yes. Yes.
That's the origin of the root DE. So always we want to up. We want to go up. We want to go O. We want to go A. Above, beyond, open, up. Always ascending, not descending.
So cool. Trina, you're a beautiful soul, lady.
So are you, Wayne. And so are so many of you here. I love you guys with all my heart and soul.
Yeah.
And keep fighting the good fight and thinking the good thoughts, because eventually they'll win.
I can testify to that.
Yeah.
We used to say something when I was in a Pentecostal church, I'm not going to shout you down, sister, because you're preaching good. So we will see you next week, Trina.
Yes.
Okay. You just let me know what day.
I'll let you know. Yeah. Huh? I think Tuesday, but I'll let you know.
Okay. So we'll end out as we brought in. Let's start in reverse order.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then we'll, the bus driver just hit the curb.
Oh,
I dig that. Miss Trina, stay with me as we go off. And folks, thank you again. Thank you for watching. We're learning. And any of you who would like to add to your essence of knowledge and you have a particular area of specialty, let us know. Bring you on, because that's how we're learning. So be good to yourselves. Appreciate it. We will see you all tomorrow. Miss Trina, thank you. Stay with me as we go off. Bye-bye, everyone.